Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's fascinating journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where even the smallest cent can hold the power to make someone an instant millionaire. And today we are diving into the extraordinary story of the 1976 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that has taken the numismatic world by storm, commanding jaw-dropping prices of up to $68 million in certain rare instances, a value that seems almost unbelievable for a coin that most people would consider everyday change. But this coin is far from ordinary, as its immense worth lies in a combination of unique errors, minting mistakes, and historical significance that has captured the attention of collectors and investors worldwide. And understanding why this coin is so valuable requires a deep dive into the specific details that make it stand out from the millions of other pennies minted in that year, starting with the errors themselves, which are primarily rooted in die mistakes, striking anomalies, and unusual planchette defects that occurred during production at the US Mint. These errors, while seemingly minor to the untrained eye, have a profound effect on a coin's scarcity and desirability, and one of the most famous variations of the 1976 penny involves what is known as a double die error, which occurs when the coin's design is accidentally struck twice with a slight misalignment during the minting process, creating a noticeable doubling effect on key features, such as the inscriptions, numbers, or Lincoln's profile on the obverse. This doubling can manifest in letters that appear thickened, shadows that suggest duplication, or even small but striking anomalies in the date itself, and collectors often hunt for coins with these characteristics because they are extremely rare and cannot be reproduced, making them highly sought after in the numismatic market. In addition to double die errors, another factor contributing to the 1976 penny's value is the phenomenon of off-center strikes, where the coin is not perfectly aligned with the die during production, resulting in a portion of the design being missing or shifted. This type of error is not only visually striking but also diminishes the total number of coins with flawless designs, thereby increasing the rarity and desirability of those that remain. Some of these off-center pennies show dramatic portions of the design completely missing, such as half of Lincoln's bust or a significant part of the lettering, and these coins, when authenticated, can fetch enormous sums because collectors know that finding another identical example is highly unlikely. In addition to off-center strikes, there are also known cases of coins from 1976 that suffered from die cracks and cuds, which are raised areas on the coin where the metal has flowed into gaps in the die or where part of the die has broken off. These seemingly small imperfections give each coin a unique character and make them stand out to collectors who value the individuality of each minting mistake. Some cuds may appear along the rim, while die cracks can radiate across the face or reverse of the coin, and coins with these features are considered highly collectible precisely because no two are identical. Another contributing factor to the 1976 penny's value is what is called a broad strike, which occurs when a coin is struck without being properly restrained by the collar of the press, causing it to expand beyond its usual boundaries and resulting in a larger, misshapen coin. These broad-struck pennies are incredibly rare, as they were not intended outcomes of the minting process, and their size difference and unusual appearance immediately set them apart from the millions of standard coins produced in that year, and collectors are willing to pay astronomical prices for such unique specimens because they represent a tangible anomaly, a mistake frozen in time that cannot be replicated. Beyond the mechanical errors, there are also environmental and planchette-related factors that contribute to the coin's rarity and value. For instance, some 1976 pennies were struck on defective or unusual planchettes that contained impurities or metal inconsistencies, leading to discoloration, strange textures, or even lamination issues where layers of the coin's metal begin to peel or flake. These anomalies add another layer of uniqueness and rarity, and coins exhibiting such traits are often sought after by specialists who focus exclusively on minting errors and planchette variations. In addition to these physical anomalies, the historical context of the 1976 penny adds to its mystique, as 1976 was the United States bicentennial year, and coins from this era carry extra significance due to their connection to the 200th anniversary of American independence. While the cent that bears the standard Lincoln design does not carry the special bicentennial reverse, The period itself heightened interest in coins produced during this time, and collectors are particularly attentive to coins with unusual errors from years of special historical significance, thereby inflating their market value even further. It's also important to consider the concept of survivorship bias in the world of rare coins, meaning that many error coins were likely destroyed during circulation, discarded due to their imperfections, or melted down for standard coinage, which leaves only a small number in pristine or discoverable condition, and this scarcity dramatically drives up the price for coins that have survived with their anomalies intact. In other words, out of the millions of pennies minted in 1976, only a handful exist with the most dramatic errors such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or unusual planchette defects, making each of these surviving examples a coveted prize among collectors and a reason why the coin could command prices in the tens of millions of dollars. Another element enhancing the 1976 penny's value is provenance and authentication, as coins with well-documented histories, especially those certified by respected numismatic grading services such as PCGS or NGC, are far more likely to achieve record-breaking prices. Buyers are willing to pay extraordinary sums for coins whose errors are verified, whose condition is graded as exceptional, and whose ownership history is traceable. These factors remove much of the uncertainty from high-value transactions and give collectors confidence in investing vast amounts of money, and the psychological appeal of owning such a rare coin cannot be overstated. The idea that a single 1-cent piece could be worth millions transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, allowing the owner to possess a tangible piece of history that carries both numismatic and financial significance. In addition, some rare 1976 pennies have combined multiple errors, such as a double die with an off-center strike or a broad strike with planchette irregularities, and these multi-error coins are exceedingly rare and can command exponentially higher prices due to their extreme scarcity. The combination of errors not only makes the coin visually fascinating but also mathematically scarce in terms of the probability of occurrence, and collectors understand that acquiring such a specimen is essentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Market dynamics also play a role in establishing the staggering $68 million valuation, as demand for top-tier error coins has been growing steadily among high-net-worth collectors, investors in alternative assets, and enthusiasts seeking trophy coins to anchor their collections. Auctions featuring rare 1976 pennies have seen bidding wars escalate quickly, with buyers motivated not just by the coin's physical attributes but also by its potential for future appreciation. Media coverage of record-breaking coin sales further fuels interest and creates a feedback loop where perceived value drives even higher prices, and social media, online marketplaces, and numismatic forums have made it easier for buyers and sellers worldwide to discover these rare coins, thereby expanding the pool of interested collectors and increasing competition. Furthermore, the condition of these coins plays a critical role in their valuation, with the highest grades such as MS70 or PR70 indicating a flawless coin that is free from wear, scratches, or toning, and when an error coin of such perfection surfaces, it becomes instantly legendary, fetching prices that seem almost surreal for a 1-cent piece. In fact, coins with mid-grade errors can still be valuable, but the extreme valuations, like the $68 million mark, are reserved for coins that combine the rarest errors with pristine condition, impeccable provenance, and an undeniable historical narrative. Finally, the possibilities for discovering a 1976 penny of immense value add an element of adventure and speculation that further fascinates collectors, whether it's uncovering a misfiled coin at a coin shop, finding an unusual specimen in circulation, or acquiring one from an estate sale. Each discovery carries the thrill of potentially holding a multi-million-dollar coin in hand, and the allure of owning a tangible piece of numismatic history that could never be replicated is what ultimately drives the coin's legendary status. The combination of technical minting errors, historical significance, scarcity, provenance, grading, and collector. Next, 1986 D1 cent USA coin. Today we are diving deep into the remarkable story of the 1986 D1 cent coin, a coin that, despite its humble face value of just 1 cent, has astonished collectors and investors alike by being valued at an eye-watering $69 million, making it one of the most sought-after pennies in numismatic history, and the reasons behind its astronomical worth are as intriguing as they are complex, involving a combination of minting errors, rarity, and the compelling allure of human fascination with mistakes that create value. To begin with, it is essential to understand that the 1986 D penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series, a series that has been in continuous production since 1909, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and, for the years 1959 to 2008, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. And while millions of Lincoln cents were produced every year, the 1986 D penny stands out not just for its appearance but for the extraordinary errors that occurred during its production, which immediately elevated it from a commonplace coin into a treasure trove for collectors. One of the most significant reasons this coin commands such a high value is the double die error that affects some specimens from that year, a phenomenon where the coin's die, the metal stamp used to imprint the design on the blank planchet, accidentally strikes the coin twice, causing a noticeable doubling of key features. In the case of the 1986 D penny, this doubling can be observed prominently on the date and the inscriptions, where careful examination reveals a slight but unmistakable shadow effect that indicates 2 imprints rather than 1. And this is precisely the kind of error that numismatists crave because it is both rare and visually striking. Unlike minor scratches or imperfections, a double die error is permanent and can never be replicated without an actual minting error occurring again, adding an irreplaceable uniqueness to the coin. Furthermore, another factor that has contributed to the staggering $69 million valuation is the rare occurrence of off-center strikes, which are instances where the planchet fails to align perfectly with the die, resulting in a coin that has part of its design missing or shifted. While an off-center strike might seem like a flaw to the casual observer, in the numismatic world, it is considered a highly desirable variant, particularly when the off-centering is dramatic but the coin is still largely intact, and in the case of the 1986 D cent, off-center coins have been documented that show an unusual and artistic misalignment that makes each piece visually unique and infinitely collectible. Adding to the mystique, one cannot ignore the effect of die cracks and cuds, which occur when the minting die itself becomes damaged and leaves raised lines or blobs of metal on the surface of the coin. 1986 D pennies with prominent die cracks are extremely scarce, and their presence not only increases the coin's rarity but also provides a fascinating insight into the minting process of the time. Collectors often pay a premium for such imperfections because they represent a moment frozen in history, a tangible reminder that even in mass production, human and mechanical factors can create beauty in unpredictability. Another contributing factor to the immense value of the 1986 D penny is its association with the broader context of coin collecting trends. In the mid-1980s, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, and most circulated widely, but the ones with documented errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks were quickly snatched up by collectors who recognized their long-term investment potential. Over the decades, as the coins changed hands and awareness of their rarity spread, the market value escalated dramatically, and this is further amplified by the phenomenon known as the collector's premium, where coins with documented errors become almost legendary, and their prices are less about intrinsic metal value and more about the story, rarity, and desirability among collectors. The market psychology is fascinating because a coin that cost less than a penny to produce can end up being worth millions, simply because a small number of people recognize its uniqueness and are willing to pay for the chance to own it. And this brings us to the finer points of grading and certification, which are essential in determining the value of any high-end collectible coin. The 1986 D penny is no exception. Professional grading companies such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, examine the coin's condition, the severity of the errors, and its overall visual appeal, and coins that achieve top grades, such as mint state 65 or higher, can command astronomical prices, because the combination of near-perfect preservation and rare errors is extraordinarily scarce. In fact, Even slight differences in how the coin was struck, how clear the doubling is, or how pronounced the off-center strike appears can have massive implications for its market value. And when you consider that only a few dozen specimens might exist in the highest grades, it becomes easier to understand how the $69 million figure is not just hype but a reflection of real scarcity and demand. In addition to the technical minting errors, there are also stories of misfiled or mispackaged rolls from the Denver Mint that add layers to the 1986 D pennies mystique. Collectors have reported instances where rolls containing a single error coin slipped past quality control and entered circulation, only to be discovered years later in pocket change, wallets, or collections that had been forgotten in drawers, and these discovery stories contribute to the lore of the coin, creating a narrative that enhances its desirability. As human beings, we are naturally drawn to stories of luck, chance, and the extraordinary, and the 1986 D penny embodies all of these elements. It is a coin that reminds us that even in the most routine processes, such as minting millions of coins, rare anomalies can occur that transform an ordinary object into a multimillion-dollar treasure. Furthermore, the 1986 D penny also serves as an educational tool for collectors and enthusiasts to understand the complexities of minting, the impact of small mechanical errors, and the intricacies of numismatic evaluation. It illustrates how subtle variations, often invisible to the untrained eye, can radically affect a coin's market trajectory. For example, the double die error is often microscopic, requiring magnification and careful study, and yet, this tiny doubling is the single most important factor in distinguishing a 1-cent piece from a multimillion-dollar collectible, and this lesson extends beyond the 1986 D penny to other coins across different eras and denominations, showing that attention to detail, patience, and a deep understanding of minting processes are rewarded handsomely in the world of numismatics. It is also worth noting that the 1986 D penny's market value is influenced by broader economic trends, investor interest in tangible assets, and the growing global fascination with rare coins, as wealthy collectors, museums, and investors increasingly seek secure, finite assets. Coins like the 1986 D 1-cent gain not only in collector value but also as a store of wealth. The combination of historical significance, rarity, unique minting errors, aesthetic appeal, and the stories attached to each coin converge to make it an object of immense monetary and emotional value. In addition, the coin's popularity is fueled by social proof and the viral nature of rare coin discoveries. When a collector unveils a previously unknown 1986 D double die or an off-center strike, the news spreads quickly through numismatic publications, online forums, and YouTube channels dedicated to coin collecting, and this media exposure significantly increases demand and, consequently, price, which creates a feedback loop where scarcity drives value and value drives further attention and investment. To illustrate further, one can imagine a coin with a perfectly centered double die, with crisp lines showing a dramatic doubling effect on the date and inscriptions, perhaps with a subtle die crack tracing across Lincoln's shoulder or the memorial on the reverse, each imperfection adding character and uniqueness, each coin telling its own story, and a discerning collector can instantly recognize the rarity and be willing to pay millions to own a piece of history. The human fascination with these errors is compounded by the fact that they are unrepeatable. The mint has long since updated dies, improved quality control, and employed more sophisticated machinery, meaning the chance of another coin with exactly the same errors emerging is virtually zero, thus cementing the 1986 D penny status as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for collectors. Beyond the obvious numismatic interest, the coin also has cultural and historical resonance, representing a snapshot of American minting practices during the mid-1980s, a period characterized by high production volumes, the transition to more advanced minting techniques, and an increasing awareness among collectors of the financial and historical significance of error coin. Last 1998 D 1-cent USA coin. Today we are diving deep into the story of the 1998 D 1-cent coin, a coin that has captured the imaginations of collectors and investors around the world, and holds a staggering value of $69 million due to its unusual errors and remarkable rarity. So buckle up as we explore every detail that makes this tiny copper piece an astonishingly valuable artifact of numismatic history, from its minting mishaps to the possibilities that drive its worth to astronomical heights. The 1998 D penny, struck at the Denver Mint, may seem like an ordinary coin at first glance, with the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial gracing the reverse, but in reality, this coin hides a series of mistakes and anomalies that have turned it into one of the most sought-after coins for collectors. The story begins with the minting process itself, a complex system that involves creating dies, striking planches, and carefully monitoring quality control. Yet despite all the precision, errors do occur, and in the case of the 1998 D penny, a specific set of circumstances combined to produce what is now considered a numismatic treasure. One of the most notable features of this coin is a misalignment in the die during striking, a phenomenon known as a die shift, where the design elements on the obverse and reverse are slightly off-center, a detail that might seem minor to the casual observer, but to collectors, this imperfection transforms a standard penny into a rare collectible. The misalignment can cause Lincoln's image or the memorial to appear unusually off-kilter, sometimes cropping portions of the design in a way that is visually striking and entirely unique, adding to the allure of the coin and making it a prime candidate for those looking to own a piece of minting history that is literally one of a kind. Another significant error that adds to the coin's value is the infamous double die error, a condition where the coin is struck more than once with slight shifts in alignment, producing doubled images of the lettering or numbers. In the 1998 D penny, careful examination reveals faint doubling on the date and the word Liberty, a subtle but critical mistake that experts use to authenticate and assess the coin's rarity. This doubling is not always visible to the naked eye, requiring magnification and careful inspection. Yet this imperfection is precisely what makes the coin such a hot commodity in the collector's market. Further compounding the value is the off-metal composition found in a limited number of these coins. While most 1998 pennies were struck using the standard copper-plated zinc planches, a rare subset accidentally received slightly incorrect alloy mixes, leading to variations in weight, color, and overall luster. Coins exhibiting these unusual characteristics are incredibly scarce, which significantly drives up demand among numismatists who specialize in error coins. The rarity factor is further amplified by a limited mintage, as the Denver Mint produced millions of pennies that year, but only a tiny fraction bore the precise combination of die shifts, doubled dies, and alloy inconsistencies that qualify for the $69 million valuation. The probability of encountering such a perfect storm of errors is astronomically low, making it a dream coin for serious collectors and investors who understand that the value of numismatic rarities is often determined by scarcity, condition, and historical significance. Speaking of condition, many of the surviving 1998 D-era pennies are preserved in exceptionally high grades due to careful handling by collectors who immediately recognized their potential worth. Coins that achieve a grade of MS67 or higher, reflecting minimal signs of wear and pristine surfaces, can command extraordinary prices at auction, and the 1998 D penny, with its combination of minting errors and exceptional preservation, fits perfectly into this category. Beyond the physical anomalies, the historical context of 1998 adds an additional layer of interest, as it was a time when the US Mint was experimenting with advanced minting techniques and stricter quality controls. Yet even with these measures, errors slip through, reminding us that no system is entirely immune to human or mechanical mistakes. The narrative of this coin becomes not just about its physical attributes, but also about the story it tells. Regarding the challenges and intricacies of coin production, each 1998 D penny with errors serves as a tangible link to the minting process and a snapshot of history frozen in copper and zinc. Another element that magnifies the value is market psychology. Collectors are often drawn to coins that carry a compelling story or feature a unique anomaly, and the 1998 D penny delivers both. Auction records and private sales have demonstrated that when such coins surface, competition among buyers drives prices to extraordinary levels, sometimes surpassing conventional expectations for what a 1-cent coin could ever achieve. This heightened demand creates a self-reinforcing cycle, as each new discovery or authenticated sale increases awareness and desire, prompting further searches in circulation and collections, and encouraging long-time collectors to scrutinize their existing holdings for overlooked treasures. Experts emphasize that even minor differences between coins can translate into massive disparities in value. For example, slight variations in die alignment, doubling intensity, or metal composition can differentiate a coin worth a few $100s from one valued at tens of millions. The 1998 D penny illustrates this principle perfectly, as it combines multiple error types that amplify each other's significance, resulting in a coin that is simultaneously rare, historically significant, and visually distinctive. Part of the coin's mystique also stems from its potential to be found in everyday places, despite its astronomical value. The reality is that a 1998 D penny with these specific errors could theoretically still exist in someone's pocket, piggy bank, or forgotten drawer, fueling the hope and excitement that treasure hunters feel when examining old coin rolls or inherited collections. The allure of finding the one is a powerful motivator in the world of numismatics, and stories abound of collectors discovering error coins worth fortunes in the most ordinary of circumstances. The grading process itself adds another fascinating dimension, as professional numismatic organizations meticulously assess each coin's condition, errors, and authenticity, providing certification that assures buyers and collectors of the coin's legitimacy. Coins graded and encapsulated by recognized services often command premiums because buyers can trust the evaluation, and for a coin like the 1998 D penny, such certification is essential given its extreme value. Furthermore, the coin has inspired countless discussions, research articles, and online forums where collectors share images, experiences, and market updates, turning it into a cultural icon within the coin collecting community. Enthusiasts analyze minute details such as the exact angle of die shift, the thickness of doubling, and subtle alloy differences, all in an effort to identify coins with maximum potential value. This collective attention and ongoing scholarship continually elevate the coin's profile, sustaining interest and reinforcing its market position. The possibilities for future value appreciation are also significant, as rare coins tend to increase in worth over time, especially when supply is fixed and demand grows. The 1998 D penny, with its combination of historical significance, minting errors, rarity, and collector interest, is well positioned for long-term investment. As more collectors and investors recognize its unique attributes, the market for such coins is likely to remain robust, and the $69 million valuation reflects both current market sentiment and the exceptional circumstances that make this coin a numismatic superstar. Beyond financial considerations, owning a 1998 D penny is about possessing a piece of history, a tangible artifact that embodies the artistry, technology, and human touch involved in minting. It serves as a conversation starter, a point of pride, and a testament to the intricacies of coin production. Collectors often describe the thrill of holding a rare error coin as akin to connecting with a moment frozen in time, understanding the small imperfections and marveling at how they transform a mundane object into a treasure. And while some may question the staggering $69 million price tag, for true collectors and historians, it represents the intersection of rarity, condition, historical context, and human fascination with the unusual. In conclusion, the 1998 D 1-cent coin is not merely a penny, it is a symbol of error and perfection converging, a coin that showcases the unpredictability of minting and the immense value that can emerge from mistakes. Its die shifts, double die features, off-metal compositions, high-grade preservation, and ongoing intrigue within the collecting community collectively justify its astonishing $69 million valuation, making it one of the most remarkable coins in American numismatic history.